ask, do you guys want me to record it and send you the link? Is that a yes? Give me a reaction, maybe. I can do that again. Okay, cool. I will record. Hang on a second. All right, we are now recording, going to the cloud. Cool. I will record. Hang on a second. I'm getting echo, so I'm going to mute you again. All right, we are now recording, going to the cloud. Cool. I will record. Hang on a second. I'm getting echo, so I'm going to mute you again. All right, we are now recording, going to the cloud. Cool. I'll mute you there. I will record. Hang on a second. I'm getting echo, so I'm going to mute you again. All right, we are now recording, going to the cloud. All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Sasaki, SAS, AKI, Communications Director, Oakland School District. Thank you for joining us today on the first day. All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Sasaki, first SAS, AKI, Communications Director, Oakland School District. Wrapping up today. Exciting day for Oakland. Admittedly, at a distance, but it's fun, it's exciting, it's learning going on, learning going on, exciting. A lot of people getting out there, really adding devices, but exciting things are doing is making sure that students are learning questions. A lot of people computers, internet, getting their own education. And of course, today, Monday, we also have been students today is Central Monday. So appreciative of what we've done.
That's not me, that's him.
People that work in our nutrition services department and all the volunteers that help out and our central office staff that helps out. It's just an amazing machine that we have, and of course we couldn't do all that without all of our amazing supporters in the community and the business world. So we'll talk about it now a little bit more as well. We have, of course, we couldn't do all. I did want to mention before we go on that we still have kids who are registering for school, and that's going to continue this week. And the best way to do that is to actually go to your school and the school can register you. You can also call to make sure that they question in the office. That's way to do that as well. And if you still not pick the school, you can do that. You can email enroll@OUSD.org, and I will get you a phone number. I believe it's 510-879-4600. So always that correct. 510-OUSD.org. So if you do not get picked the school, go ahead and give us a call or email us. So we're going to start then to really get some details on food distribution and device distribution with our Chief Services Systems and Services Officer, Preston Thomas.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it was a great day. I started my day out at International Community School, and the complete embodiment of kind of what we're trying to accomplish was a young girl picked up her device today and immediately went outside and logged on for her first class. So it was really exciting to see her sitting there with her mom, getting online. Today, we had about up to this point, and teachers have until about 6:30 today to log in all the engagements with students. We've had about 20,000 students online today. Over 2,040 Zoom sessions that have happened today with teachers reconnecting with their students. So really excited to see all of that happening. As we've said before, I mean, really, this is a huge effort to close the digital divide, and lots of partners supporting to get devices and folks to communicate. Making sure every family has access to a Chromebook, every family has access to a hotspot, and then really a lot of today has been spent around tech support, making sure that families are getting online. On the food distribution side of it, there's been a lot of competing interest for families today. Some of them are picking up packets for learning. They're picking up their devices. And so we had a little over 2,800 families that came out today to pick up food. One of the big differences for our food distribution is right now every single child has to be registered as a student in the school district. And so that's taking a little time for families to get used to that new system. But, we're up at 22 sites and, handing out fresh produce and school lunches for families across the city of Oakland. So.
We just lost your audio at the end there, Preston. Yeah, are you muted? Your audio just went totally out.
Right there, the whole damn.
All right, hold that thought.
Okay.
Oh, no, there you are. You're back now.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of in and out now. Tell you what, we'll come back to you, okay? All right. One of our favorite people who is always a huge supporter of our schools, someone who is a proud graduate of Skyline High School, former head cheerleader at Skyline High School, your mayor, Libby Schaaf, is here with a few words about the first day of school.
Great, thank you. I know I joined many Oaklanders and certainly parents in saying this is the most unusual first day of school we've ever had. And I just want to call on Oaklanders to do what we do best, and that is come together, show our Oakland grit and resilience as we adjust to these ever-evolving realities of the COVID pandemic. I am so proud of how we came together as a community to ensure that every single student in this city is going to have the distance learning tools in their home. This Oakland Undivided campaign is the kind of thing that defines the resilient Oakland spirit. And I know as that we adjust to this ever unfolding reality of distance learning and how the conditions are going to change throughout the year, and we have to be prepared for that. I know that we will enter this kind of unknown territory with love and with a clear focus on what is best for our students. So I just want to thank all the leaders in Oakland Unified that have been working so hard to forge this new path in such uncertain territory. I see the late night emails. I know how hard you have worked all weekend, late at night, to ensure that this day is as positive and supportive for our children and our families as is possible. And so I'm excited to continue to be a close partner on behalf of the city of Oakland. We had success in our Oakland Undivided campaign. And as we look at ways that the city can, for example, provide spaces in our recreation centers, continue to support the incredible job that OUSD has done to ensure that no family goes hungry. We are here as your dedicated partners in serving our students and our families and their education. So with that, I thank you, and I'm so excited about this year ahead. While it is difficult because we are all dedicated to education, we know we are going to find every opportunity to learn things from what we are going through together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And of course, when we're able to get back in schools, we're going to invite you along to come back and greet people in person. So thank you very much for that support. Next up, we have our board president, Jody London, with a few words as well.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Thank you in particular to our students and your parents. We're having the most unusual first day of school you will ever have. This is going to be one for the history books. In fact, this morning, as I was getting ready to start my day, I was like, is this really the first day of school? It just feels so different. I don't even have students at home anymore. My students are in college now, but it's definitely different. It's different for everybody. And I really want to thank all of the adults who have worked so hard to make today possible. And I think there's a lot of room for everyone to learn and grow. And I agree with the mayor that we need to give each other some grace here, give each other some space, because this is new. a new first day of school for everybody. I know that we are working hard to make sure that our teachers and staff are prepared to support distance learning. And I also want to encourage parents to have a positive attitude, right? A lot of how your child experiences this day, this week, and this school year will depend on how you approach it as well. Is it an adventure? Is it a learning experience? You set the tone, and that will really help your kid be successful with how this year goes. So I want to thank everybody. I know that we're going to be talking with you all frequently. There's a lot of changes. I want to thank the city for your partnership with everything. And I want to particularly thank our staff, again, our teachers and our staff for all the work you're doing to make sure that all of our kids are able to learn however we can reach them right now in the pandemic. Thanks. John, now you're muted.
My apologies. This whole Zoom thing confuses me. Thank you very much, President London. Next, we have our Superintendent, Kylie Trammell, who got the chance to visit one of our schools in person and visit one of our schools virtually today. So please, Superintendent.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone. It's so wonderful to virtually see all of you. And yes, I would echo some of the adjectives I've heard to describe today. I'm going to add the adjective unique. It is definitely unprecedented, but it's a unique way of starting and just plain weird. When I woke up this morning, it's the first day, there are the butterflies, but you're kind of at home starting the first day. So there still is a lot of adjustment for those around the world, actually, in terms of what it looks like to create this learning environment in this virtual setting. I'd like to first start off to just thank the mayor for her continued support and really helping us to hit the ground running in terms of getting devices and hotspots into the hands of our students and families. I'd like to thank our board president, who has been very supportive as well, and really helping to champion this idea that we need to continue to be adaptive in this space. And really seek out the opportunity during this crisis and just lean into our ingenuity, imagination, and creativity as we think about what schooling looks like in this new normal. There are several staff members on this Zoom Brady Bunch screen that have put in tireless hours, not just over the weekend, but since March, actually, just rethinking just about everything that we do to have school work, from registration to teaching, to food distribution, to technology, to home visits. A lot of what I was listening into on Bunch, one of our alternative school, they did a beautiful job, the teacher, the leader, and just going through what virtual home visits are looking like and really helping the kids understand what attendance looks like in a virtual setting. So there's so many pieces that have to be redone and rethought during this virtual time that the district is doing, schools are doing literally day after day to make school work in this virtual setting. And the last thing that I would add is just this notion of grace that actually the principal at Bunch brought up in his opening remarks, and that everyone is learning how to adjust to this learning, from students, teaching my own kids how you manage your own time, deal with the schedule, the importance of breaks, what you do when the Zoom link doesn't work, to teachers who, there was one teacher on a call that I was on who was saying, hey, I've been teaching all these years, but I feel like a first-year teacher because it is a new skill to learn how to actually teach in a virtual setting. And so there's lots of learning, and it was great being able to go to one site in person and see a lot of the work that Preston Thomas and Sonali, who was on the line as well, have done in terms of registration, food distribution, device distribution, being able to see parents come in, get questions answered and get what they need to support their students at home, and be able to log in and Zoom along with staff and see all of the incredible ways that schools are figuring out how to create that culture and begin to build relationships with students, which that's usually what we would do in a brick and mortar setting. And that's what we're seeing, that schools are finding all sorts of creative ways of doing virtually, from assemblies on Zoom with music in the background, having kids play 2 truths and a lie, logging and uploading letters, letting teachers know a little bit about themselves, all kinds of creativity that we're seeing unfold throughout the district. That just warms my heart to see that we're doing our best during these tense circumstances because of the pandemic to still bring some normalcy for our students and our families. So we are looking forward to sharing all of the nuggets of the things going on across our district, and just sharing the many ways that we are staying connected with our students and families. So thank you all for being here. And we're off and running.
Very good. Thank you so much, Superintendent. All right, with that, we can open it up to questions. So if you have a question you want to put in the chat or you want to just ask, go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead.
Well, I'll get started. Hi, this is Zenny Abrams, Zenny62 Media. Hey, everybody. Hi, Ms. Mayor. Ms. Mayor, Superintendent, are you all on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not satisfied, 10 being satisfied with the progress toward closing the digital divide as the school year progresses? Thank you.
I'll start on that. I would give it a 7, Zenny. I mean, considering that we just months ago had at least 25,000 households that did not have distance learning tools. And that today we have devices that are on their way. We've actually raised $12.5 million in like a week. And again, special thanks, 10 of those $1 million came from one individual, Jack Dorsey. I think that is pretty miraculous. And I think it's very important we celebrate that incredible accomplishment. But we recognize that we're like a 7 out of 10 towards meeting this immediate need. I can tell you that we want to take advantage of this moment to close the digital divide for good, not just take care of families who are going to need distance learning tools for this school year, but be much more systemic and permanent in our interventions. And to that end, we, thanks to the leadership from the Oakland City Council, are now standing up a public Wi-Fi system. We are doing the planning work to potentially light up a new broadband fiber backhaul along International Boulevard that was put in as part of the BRT project. We're looking at how we can bring that broadband access into homes and businesses, particularly along that international corridor, and how we can have a plan that will sustain that year after year and make sure that we're not just closing the digital divide for our distance learners during the pandemic, but that we are doing it for good. Because we know if we want to truly address racial inequities, economic inequities, digital access and digital literacy is a key component to that goal of equity. Superintendent?
Yes, I think I'd like to answer that question in 2 ways. I think in terms of the effort and the level of responsiveness given the crisis, I would agree, 7 and above. And I think our mission in Oakland Unified School District is around being a full service community district. And as a community, between the mayor's leadership, my leadership, the staff on this call, so many within the city, we pulled together to say we have a need and we need to get to it. In terms of us having to actually be in that position in the first place, I rate us as a nation a 1, because we needed to have this access and these tools. and this capacity building way before this. And in a way, this pandemic has shown just how stark the inequities have been. So there is still much work to do. I'm grateful that I actually have city leadership that really values equity. But it shouldn't just be on individual cities. I've been very adamant about the fact that technology is just as much of a right as electricity, running water, for anybody to be able to be an active citizen. You cannot participate in our society without having access to the internet, to devices, and knowing how to use those tools. And so there is much more work that's starting to be done now at the state and national level, so that there isn't this huge lift from the ground in order to do that. So we've made a lot of progress. Preston Thomas in particular and his team, with us knowing that everyone across the nation was going to be ordering at the same time, we made the decisions in April and May. Let's have a plan B, because if everyone is reaching out to the same vendor at the same time, what should we assume is going to happen in terms of delays? And so that's been a lot of the work, is we've been loaning out devices as we're waiting for the others to come in. So lots of progress, but there is much to do to make sure not only that students and families have these devices, but we're looking out. We know people are going to need these in years 2 and 3. We want to be in a place to be able to provide the stuff and also to be able to provide the support so that our students and families know how to use the tools.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Superintendent. Madam Mayor, you put something in chat. Do you want to say this out loud? Madam Mayor?
I just wanted to add that we should not be fundraising for this. It is true. This has to be baked in as public infrastructure. That's where we need to go. And I agree with the superintendent's assessment. I was trying to be positive and celebrate the victory that we did have, but it's this whole thing about having bake sales. That's just got to go, and we need to bake this into how our public systems work. It's infrastructure. It's like roads and bridges. We have to treat things like internet access as critical infrastructure for everyone.
Thank you very much. All right, our next question comes from Melissa at KNTV. When will students start to get more than 1 hour of live instruction? In other words, when will students experience more of a structured learning schedule? I would address that thusly. This is exactly what we are negotiating right now with our labor partners, OEA. And as it stands currently, we proposed a bit more time that is live synchronous instruction, and they proposed a bit less. And so that's the middle ground where we're trying to find some commonality and some agreement. So that continues. I believe we are looking forward to meeting with them today. I don't know if it's happened already, but it should be happening at some point today. So we look forward to doing that and getting to a point where we have an agreement, and so that we can actually move on from that, not worry about the MOU anymore, and just get back to really what all of us want to be doing, and that is being in the classroom with students and supporting students, and even if we're doing it virtually. So that is there anybody else who wants to add anything to that? All right, we'll move on to the next question. Angelina from KTSF says, is there any updates about the negotiation of distance learning? That's about the same question, so I think we've covered that. Anybody else? Teresa, I know you always have questions for us, so what do you got for us?
Yeah, thank you. Well, we were still wondering, so you mentioned that you're in negotiations, so what are kids actually getting? Are they getting the OEA proposal, or are they getting the district proposal? And if they're getting the OEA proposal, is that a violation of the current contract in any way?
I'll put it this way for you. Regardless of this MOU, the CBA is still in effect, the collective bargaining agreement that we agreed to do that expires at the middle of next year. So that's what should apply. And so we certainly hope that our staff are doing what the CBA calls for. So we're in a position where, obviously we just want to come to an agreement that works for everybody and that supports our students in the best way possible. So we're going to continue working on that. And we expect that our staff, bottom line is we know our staff want to be with our students. We know the teachers want to be with our students. That's why they got into teaching. They want to be with their students, whether it's virtually or in person. So we want to be able to get to a point where all this kind of minutia that's outside the classroom is resolved, and that we can just move forward and they can do what they were born and bred to do, really. All right. Anybody else with questions? Feel free. Anything you want to ask about? No? All right. Well, thank you very much. Figured this would be a pretty brief one. It was, as we said, an exciting day for us, and we look forward to more excitement as the days roll on this week. And if you need anything else additionally, you want to come to our schools and get anything going on, food or device distribution or anything else, let me know. If there are no other questions, we'll just wrap up.
John,
Yeah.
I know that yesterday I saw an email go out looking for more volunteers from the community to help with the food service. And so, Preston, is that still a need? Do we still need volunteers at the food distribution sites?
Yeah, I think it is going to be an ongoing need. I think right now we're trying to figure out a new system for distributing food linked to each individual student. And so there's always some problem solving that we have to work through. And I think, we're desperately in need of volunteers always to kind of support all the engagement that we're doing across the district. So, any outreach to people that want to volunteer, we're definitely going to take them up on that.
And folks can find that on our website. If you click through the COVID screens on the website, OUSD.org, you'll find links to volunteer. Thank you.
Yeah, I would just add that, I think one of the storylines of the summer and the 4,300,000 meals that were distributed from the beginning of the COVID crisis, a lot of that came because of volunteers out there supporting their community and coming out to support our school sites. So, that there has been a significant contribution for volunteers throughout the summer and into the year for sure.
And one thing I wanted to add too about that is that some of our teachers, for example, were volunteers during the course of the summer, and now they're back in school. So they don't have the time, they don't have the ability to get out with us. So we definitely need folks to come step forward and support us. This is about supporting your community. This is about supporting people, your neighbors, the kid down the block or their family. So this is about supporting Oakland. And so if you have the time, you have the ability to come on out, it's gonna not only help our families, our students, our staff, but it's going to help you. It's going to make you feel good, and it's going to be a big difference. And honestly, one of the great things about this, I mentioned the partnerships that we have with so many great organizations, from the Golden State Warriors, Eat, Learn, Play, Salesforce, Alameda County Community Food Bank, Help a Mother Out. I could go on and on and on. Cliff Bar, just everybody's been helping us with this. You get in there, you're right there with all those other amazing organizations, and you will also get some food to take home. You'll get some, and when I say some food to get to take home, we have adult meals that we provide through our partnerships with restaurants in Oakland, Eat, Learn, Play, and other organizations that are providing us food, including Cliff Bar. They've been making us food as well. So it's you get a benefit out of this, and you feel great doing it. So if you can volunteer, if you don't know how to get a hold of us as far as how to volunteer, you can look on our Facebook page, OUSD News. I believe we posted that link on there. You can just sign up there. I can post it again, and you can also email or call me, and I can connect you with the right people as well. My email is john.sasaki@ousd.org, SASAKI@ousd.org, and you can call me. My number is 510-214-2080. So we're always here for you, especially if you want to support our kids and our families. So with that, I did want to add one more thing, and that is with regard to the way distance learning is happening this year. We certainly feel a lot more confident than we did in the spring. And of course, the reason for that is that on Friday, March 13th, we decided we were shutting the schools to in-person learning. And on Monday, the 16th, we were we had the schools closed, no kids were there, and we were starting to get into distance learning. A lot of our kids didn't even have computers at that point. We have many more that have computers already. And the experiences we had during the course of the spring, we learned a great deal from it, not only, just kind of on the ground with teachers and students, but we as a district also learned learned and grew from it. So we know we're much better prepared going into this school year because of all those experiences we had in the spring. So I think that the experiences that our kids are going to have going forward are going to be much better than they were in the spring. We had some great things happen in the spring. Certainly the class of 2020 had kind of a weird experience graduating, but they are all off and flourishing in their futures already. And so we expect more of the same this coming year as our students are even better prepared moving forward. So thank you, everybody. If there's no more questions, we're going to wrap it up. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.
Thank you. Well, everyone, that concludes the press conference. It was about the length I thought it was going to be, and it's live streamed. And when in the broadcast, it will be automatically on Zenny 60 on YouTube, or it already is. That's where you're watching it, and it will be on 16 of the blogs of the Zenny 62 Media Network, including and paced by Oakland News Now, Zenny62.com, and Oakland News Online. All right. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you later. And subscribe to Zenny 62 if you haven't done so already. Shame on you.